back over here and look at writing project 1, okay? And it says, over the past few weeks, we have listened to a podcast and read 2 narratives, all of which explore the way communication fails. In these stories, language can be a barrier, but even more so, cultural background or preconceived notions prevent individuals from understanding one another. Use these stories as models for writing project 1. You are asked to tell a story from your own life. It's either about someone fails to understand you, or you fail to understand someone else, both of which because of a linguistic, language, cultural, or intellectual barrier. Okay, so for Tuesday, you are going to post on the discussion board, and you can see here, what is the key idea that you want to explore in WP1? Which memory or memories do you plan to include as support for your claim? How do you do this homework? You click on discussion board post 1. You will click create thread, and you will come here and say, my key idea for WP1, okay? And then here I will type, I am going to talk about, and then you will describe the situation and give some memories or some more details. So how do you come up with that idea? I'm going to give you a few suggestions in this PowerPoint that I'm providing for you back on the other blackboard, on my blackboard. Okay, so but anyway, for example, you will talk, if you know what you're going to write about, write it here and then click submit, and that homework for Tuesday will be completed. Okay, so I'm going to, what if you don't know what you're writing about? Let me give you some ideas. Okay, if you are still trying to think of some ideas, you need to do some brainstorming, which means generating ideas. And I had wanted to do this in class, but we didn't have enough time. So my suggestions are to talk or do free writing about these topics. When I say talk, I mean you can pause the video and talk about these topics with a friend or family member to try to get ideas. When I say free writing, I mean once I show you the topics, you just write, okay, as much as you can think of. It doesn't have to be good grammar or anything, just lists of ideas, okay, to answer my questions that will help you think of a memory where you experienced a something where you had a miscommunication, right? So I'm going to go through topic by topic and ask some questions. You should hit pause on your video if you're going to talk or write about it while I'm doing this. So the first topic is childhood. When you were a child, did you ever have a misunderstanding? Did you ever have a time when maybe you got in trouble from your parents or from someone else, but they didn't understand what was really happening? Did you have something with your brothers or sisters? Was there something that you really wanted or believed as a child, but no one else wanted or believed that? Did you experience discrimination as a child? Okay. What about in school? Did you ever have a conflict with a teacher where you did not understand each other? That could be in school here or in your country. Did you ever have a problem with a classmate? Maybe someone who was new, someone who was bullying or something like that, where you did not understand each other? When you traveled, did you ever have a miscommunication when you traveled? Maybe you went somewhere and you did not know how to speak the language and it was difficult to travel. Or maybe when you were traveling, you got lost or you had some sort of problems when you were traveling. That might be a good miscommunication. Okay, what about at work? Did you ever have a conflict or argument at work? Maybe it was with a coworker or a supervisor. Maybe it was with a customer or a client. In love, did you ever have a miscommunication? No, nobody ever has a miscommunication in love. But maybe when you were in love with someone, maybe you loved someone and they didn't love you, or they loved you but you didn't love them. Maybe you had some sort of argument or disagreement. Maybe you had different values. One person wanted time together, one person wanted more money. Family. What sort of disagreements or miscommunications did you have with your family? These often are from generations. So if your parents or grandparents didn't understand something about something that you like or that you value. And I think Narcissa mentioned that she might write about her father who did not value education. And I think that is something that many other people can write about too. If someone in your family did not value education, but it was important to you, sometimes people write about that. What about with friends? Have you ever had a miscommunication or disagreement with friends that you could write about? Did your friends have gossip or sort of say something not true behind your back? That might be a good miscommunication. Or maybe you had a situation with language that where you didn't know a language or you couldn't communicate and maybe something funny happened, maybe something serious happened because of the language. So I was thinking for myself, do I have one more? No. I was thinking for myself, what would I write about in this example? And one thing I realized is that you really need to think about a story that has a point, a story that you can make into a larger essay and that you can make a message or a thesis from. So, for example, I have a language story about speaking Spanish where I am left-handed. I write with my left hand. And in Spanish, we say this word zurdo or zurda, right? Left-handed. But I was saying soy sorda. That means I am deaf. I cannot hear. So I kept telling these people, soy sorda, but I was trying to say soy zurda, which is left-handed. So it was a little confusing. Now, the problem is I cannot write about this for 4 or 5 pages. Okay, I don't have a bigger message that I can get from this. It was kind of funny, but it's going to be very hard to make a bigger message of this. Okay, I was thinking of another cultural miscommunication that I had where we had a visiting professor from Costa Rica, and he was my friend. And one time I was walking down the stairs in Building D, and many people were standing there from work, many workers, including him. And he wanted me to hug him, but I didn't want to hug him. Okay, because I felt like I'm at work, I'm professional. He's not my boyfriend, just a friend, but I didn't want people to sort of like judge me, like, why is she? I don't know. I just don't usually hug a man at work. I don't know why. But now this one, maybe I can talk. And he was so upset that I didn't hug him. And he talked about it like for weeks and weeks about how I did not hug him this one time. Because for him, the personal connection was very important and it was normal to hug. Okay, that one, maybe I can write a little more about that and talk about some cultural differences. Maybe I can push myself to think of some other examples. Okay. Another example that I would like to give is when I first lived on the border with Mexico. I lived in Ciudad Juarez, which is across the border from El Paso. So I was living in Mexico and I was taking the bus. So one time I got on the bus and I tried to give the first time I got on the bus, I tried to give my money, and the driver was like, no, no, no money, no money. And I was thinking like, what the heck? Why doesn't this guy want my money? Like, what's going on? It's so weird. So I rode the bus, and then it was time to get off, and I just got off the bus. Bye, dude. Bye. And he was like, hey, where's my money? And he was really angry with me. So on those buses, you had to pay at the end instead of at the beginning of riding. Okay. That was completely new for me, completely opposite for me. Now, that one is another one where I think I can make it into a bigger message, because I could also write about like other times when rules are different, like the rule is very different or the rule is completely opposite. But something that you really want to think about is whatever situation that you brainstormed, what did you learn from it? And what is the larger message? Or if you thought of many different scenarios, can you kind of link some of them together to follow a common theme? Okay, so I hope this brainstorming part helped you.